Before we create anything in Jenkins, let's create a workspace and we will keep all our configurations within workspace. Open the Jenkins dashboard. We'll create new item, Jenkins workspace. Any name you can give it, no issues. Create a folder. Okay. Jenkins workspace. To identify anything, let's keep all our jobs and configurations within this folder. Pretty straightforward. We will look at the help metrics and all later. Okay, and we are going to keep save. Now we are going to create a freestyle job. Create job, demo 01, freestyle project. Okay, this is demo 01 job, and we will look at these parameters later. Let's scroll it down. Build step. Build is if we execute a job or a workflow, that's called build. It can be executing a command, it can be baking a Docker image, it can be baking any Node.js or Java application, anything. Let's add the first build step. Here, Windows bash command, execute shell, invoke ant, invoke Gradle script. Many are there. Let's look at execute shell. ls minus l pwd. I'll put it one by one. df minus hp. First job is created. First job is executed. Look at it. Console output. We have received the console output. The first job we executed. This is the job name. Started by user. 2 minutes waiting time. 12 minutes building time. Total 14 minutes it took to execute it. Let's bookmark this job. This is my first job. I'm going to bookmark this. This is my first execution. Okay. So it has been bookmarked. If you come to demo 1, it has been bookmarked like this with a proper clean and neat description. We need to edit this job. Configure, discard all the build. Before doing that, let's execute few more times. I'm just executed this many times. This has been executed 2, 3, 4 up to 16 times. Perfect. Now we will go to the configure, discard all the build, log rotation, days to keep builds. I'll put 1 day. So today's data is enough. Rest of the things are good to do the housekeep. Maximum number of builds to keep. I'll say I need only 3. Last 3 builds are more than enough. We have advanced settings here, but never mind. I'm not gonna look at it now. Perfect. So let's save this and we are going to build it. Perfect. It deleted everything, kept the last 3 builds. Go back to the configure again. Here is few parameters. This we will look at the GitHub project later because we need to go for some integrations. Keep aside. This project is parameters. Yes, we are going to add the parameter. The first parameter we are going to add is a string parameter. I'll say my name. What is your name? I'll mention Melvin and enter your name. So the default value that we are going to set is Melvin and the name, and description is enter your name. So this name is a variable basically. Okay. So we need to call that basically. We will do echo. Always make sure that any variables you have to put it in double quote. If you put it inside single quote, it will treat as a string. So inside double quote, we are going to call this echo name. I'll do one more thing, test.txt. I'll do this much. The name is going to update inside test.txt. Perfect. I'll save it. Then I'll build it. So here it will ask the parameter like what is your name? I have mentioned here. I'll put my second name here. Okay. Or I'll give my full name. Melvin Satishan. I'm going to build it. Here, if you look at it, the last build happened on 18th, right? So the 18th build console output, if you look at it, echo Melvin Satishan. So the variable was replaced with my actual value. So this way we can do it, or even we can apply it something like checking the disk space or anything. So you can update the variables or the parameters like this. Perfect. One more thing I would like to let you know is this is the demo one, right? And if we look at this job output, console output, I would say, Word Jenkins home workspace, Jenkins workspace, demo 01. This is basically the workspace. Under the workspace, we have created a folder. So the folder has come here. Under the folder, this particular job has been created. So whatever the things are happening here, it is being executed from this path, and the logs or the files, whatever, will be saved under this. So when you configure something, make sure that you would be mapping your files or folders with respect to this path, else you will see file not found or directory not found error. And this particular execution path is called workspace. Inside your workspace, you have this directories, and inside these directories, your respective jobs or workflows or whatever is getting executed. This is going to be very critical, because when we do a Python coding or JavaScript coding, if we haven't mapped this path accordingly, we will land into error. Now we are doing just ls-l or the pw command, but the real build is going to be very complex. That would be discussing in the upcoming session. And one more point that before we need to discuss here is demo 1. Here is the workspace, right? So we taken the parameter, and that parameter has been written to the test.txt. As I have already explained previously, that the parameter is getting written under the desired directory, which is located under the workspace. So it has been written to test.txt under Jenkins workspace, demo 01 and test.txt. Perfect. So always keep this in mind and before you check anything. Now, you would be doing a number of executions or the build. Suppose you want to clean it, the previous execution logs or something. If you want to preserve it, you can preserve as it is. But if you want to clean it, just click here, wipe out current workspace. We are going to wipe it out. That's it. If you go to the workspace, there is nothing, because the demo 01 folder has been deleted from there. It's no more. But you have a job. The job is getting executed every time, and you will not get adequate time to go and delete these things. So how do you do that programmatically? All you need is delete workspace before build starts, and you have here the advanced options. So here you can define the patterns of files to be deleted, or the parameters, or additional external deletion commands and all for your custom deletion. But whatever I will do is I'll just click on this. Pretty straightforward. And I'm going to execute this once again. If we go to this workspace, now the workspace is there, but soon it is going to be replaced. 20 has been completed. Okay, so did that delete? So if you look at it, it deleted the project workspace, then it's completely cleaned it up. After that, it executed this program, right? So that's what is happening. Now, one more thing we can do. Let's say that it has been deleted and it left the logs as it is, right? But our expectation is whenever we execute the job, we need to clean this particular logs and all, so that our system will be clean and neat. How do we do that? Go to configure, scroll it down. Here we have build step, then we have post build actions, right? Delete workspace when build is done. We have a lot of actions here that we will be looking at later, but because here we have email notifications, once the build is successful or failed, we will get the notifications and all that we'll discuss later. But immediately we need to look at it as delete workspace when build is done. That post build action has been added. We have saved it. Let's build it. And if I go to workspace, there is nothing because it built and it simply deleted the things. That's it. Okay, but I can show you some more thing. I'll do this way. I'll sleep it for 100. Then I'll execute it. Build with parameters. If I look at the workspace, I have the workspace and the job is waiting. So until the job is getting completed, things will be there. Once it is done, our post execution jobs will be getting executed and this workspace demo01 is going to be deleted. So let's look at the progress. It's progressing well. And console output, sleep 100. And remember that since we have enabled deleting the workspace, so before starting the job, it cleaned up the workspace. And if there is any logs or something to be preserved, the old logs will be getting cleaned from the workspace and the new log files will be getting generated. So that would be collected the logs. Once that is completed or the desired execution time is completed, then those logs also will be getting cleaned. So this will be helpful. Suppose when you are doing something in the production landscape, your agents may face some low disk space issues and all, right? In that case, we will do this exercise and we can make sure that any sensitive data won't be retrieved by some security team or someone. By doing this, we will do our transactions, then we will clean it up everything and come out. That's it. So it takes some time. Meantime, let's look at the other features. We'll go to the demo01 and we'll go to the configure. So we discussed that part. Project is parameterized. Throttle builds. Throttle build is as simple as how many builds can be done within a minute. Let's say I'll say 3 build can be done within a minute. Okay, I'll mention 3. So 20 seconds between the build. The interval between the build is 20 seconds. After that, what will happen, right? And before that, we need to do some more thing because I need to change this sleep step because it may take some time, right? I'm just gonna save it, build the parameters. I'm gonna do build with parameter again. I'm gonna do build with parameter again. So I'm gonna do build with parameter. I'm gonna do build with parameter. See, if you look at it, it executed 3 jobs at a time. I mean, in a serial manner. After that, we have enabled the throttle part, right? So the throttle is expected to be expires at so and so time, so it will wait till then only it is going to be getting executed. See, the throttle has been completed so that it got executed. Perfect. Now If you look at here, see, it has been deleted the workspace. Our workspace is no more. If we can check here, see, there is no workspace. I'm coming back to the previous part. Okay. Now, one more part that we need to discuss here. See, the throttling we discussed, right? Let's look at the next parameter. Make sure that suppose you will be doing some build like development, test and production, and you will have certain lead time, the development landscape to be built uh, immediately, then test to be built after 1 day, and production to be built after a week. In that case, you can use this throttle builds in a pretty straightforward manner. Okay, and execute concurrent builds if necessary. I'm going to enable this. There also we have advanced options. This will select when we do the appropriate exercises in the advanced session. I'm just going through a 10,000 feet overview what it is and how it behaves. Okay, execute concurrent builds if necessary. I'm going to put here again our sleep 30, or rather I will put 20, and I may take out this name. I don't want this parameter unnecessarily holding our deployment. Then save it. That's done. Now it's just like I'll keep on hitting the things, right? If you look at it, okay, we will go back to the throttle part. What is happening here is we enabled the throttle, right? At a time it will not, because in between the build we have 20 seconds gap. I want to disable the throttle. Now if we go to build, see, two builds are happening parallelly and the other builds are waiting because our system doesn't have enough capacity. So it consumed the maximum capacity and concurrently executing the jobs. So whatever the remaining jobs, it will be there in the queue. So if you want to patch 100 servers, if you select this concurrent build, it will patch it parallelly so that you can save the time. But if you disable the concurrent build, it will patch it serial manner. So per server, if it is taking 1 hour, of course it is going to take 100 hours. Rather than that, if we enable the parallel build, if we have very high capacity agents installed, it will complete within an hour. Okay. Next part that we need to discuss here is triggers. We'll discuss later because we need to discuss very detailed regarding the event driven automation and webhooks. Environment also we will discuss in the next advanced step, but we have a typical or a critical step, that is source code management. In our case, we just did just an ls minus l or pwd, just commands, but our real project is not at all like this. We are going to create our lengthy codes, templates, variables, everything in a source control management repository, which is called GitHub. And we would be defining our pipelines as well in the repository. As and when it is needed, it would be loaded to the Jenkins and the desired pipeline will be getting executed. For that, we have to do a GitHub integration. Let's do that first. Before doing the GitHub integration, I want to show you certain things, what is happening and all. Let's take out this delete workspace before build start. I don't want that. Next, because if we delete, let's say delete workspace before build start, that's perfect. But let's take out this post build action because I want to show you that our GitHub has been properly cloned, right? So we will save it for time being. We have a demo 01, let it be there. Next, we will come to the Git repository. In this Git repository, we have Melvin Satishan. It's an organization. Under the organization, we have created a repository. Perfect. And we have few files as well. It's just a dummy file. We will look at it in a detailed manner. And we have a URL here, HTTPS and SSH. Make sure that, because from 2021 onwards, GitHub stopped supporting the username and password for cloning the repositories, but we can use using a username and an API access token to clone the repositories. Okay, we are going to discuss that in detail. The prerequisites for integrating GitHub with Jenkins. First, we need a GitHub API token. Go to the settings, then navigate to the developer settings, navigate to personal access token, select the classic tokens, generate new token, generate new classic token, provide any name, select the desired number of days that your token to be valid, select all the desired permissions and generate token. You'll get a token. I have already created a Jenkins token. I'm gonna use the same. Okay. Coming back to the repository Jenkins, we are having HTTPS URL. Let it be there as it is. We will go back to the Jenkins console. Then we'll go to the workspace. Then we'll go to the credentials. We will go to the workspace scoped area, Jenkins workspace. Here we have the global credentials here. We will add the credentials. Remember that we have different type of credential types. We have GitHub apps, which is the latest secure model, SSH username and private key. Yes, GitHub, we can use it using SSH access key and the private key and public key access model, or some other applications using the secret file or secret text or certificate. These all are for different application integrations, but we will keep it very simple. We will select the username with the password. See, this credential is not only for the GitHub integration. This is for ServiceNow or any other third-party application integration. You can use this credentials, or even you can add custom credential types as well. Here is my username, Melvin Satishan, and here's the password. I'm going to give my GitHub access token. Right. So the ID is a unique string that would be getting generated by GitHub, but I don't want to give it now. Even you can provide it, but let the let the Jenkins may select that. The problem here is, or why we need this ID is, whenever we go for this declarative pipeline and all, we would be mapping this ID. So the Jenkins job would be able to fetch the workflow and pass the credentials and execute it. The final thing we need to do here is the description. This is the GitHub token, so that easily you can understand the things. So we have added the credential. Perfect. So it has been updated. Next, we will go to demo 01. We will go to the source code management. Here is the Git. Remember the URL here. We have the HTTPS URL, and coming into the URL part, we added the URL. Perfect. Now with URL, it is not gonna work. We need credentials. So we added the credentials. As soon as the error is vanished away. Perfect. Remember that GitHub never maintain a branch called master unless you explicitly defined it. By default, it is going to be main. Bitbucket will always have a master branch instead of main. So we are gonna define the main branch. Now, this particular project is pointing to the repository Jenkins located in the master branch, and we provided the username and the access key, the API key, to clone this repository. Also, you can explicitly define the branches, and you can explicitly define some regular expressions or parameters to browse your files or folder patterns and all, but I'm keeping it plain and simple as we are just getting familiarized with the components. We will use these things when we discuss the complex pipelines and all. Okay, now I'm going to save it. Let's build it. 29. Okay, if we go to the demo one workspace, look at it, it has already been cloned our GitHub repository. And if we go to the demo one 29, this job console output, it is, see, look at it, it has been passed the necessary credentials, and it has cloned the repository and cloned it to the workspace. Where it is cloned to our workspace, a folder called Jenkins repository. Okay, so that's it. In this session, we will resume this session in the next video, as it is quite lengthy. And thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions, queries or suggestions, feel free to put it in the comment. Once again, thank you so much for your time, and have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.